Hello and welcome to today's segment of the Innovation Series with Boston BioLife. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with the founder and CEO of MagnaWave, Pat Ziemer, and he'll be discussing pulsed magnetic energy technologies. And Pat, thank you so much for being here with Boston BioLife.
Hey, Joe, it's a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to it.
How did you get involved in the energy medicine field? And tell us a little bit about MagnaWave and Aura.
I got involved in the energy field. I had a background in microbiology and pathology. I sold jet airplanes. 9/11 put us out of business. A friend of mine in Canada needed some help at Churchill Downs with his pulsed energy equipment and had a background in horses. So I began to help him doing that at Churchill Downs with the horses. That went on 5 or 6 years. I found the high-powered equipment that we have today, basically repackaged it, made it friendly for the animals, and hit the ground running. And we've grown steadily ever since that time. Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy in the high-powered versions works immediately when you apply it to a sore area of tissue or anything like that.
How are the veterinarians using, the horse trainers using your technology?
Well, certainly the stress that's related to equine athletes and horse racing and performance horses, hunters and jumpers, they have a lot of muscle strain issues. They have joint issues that need to be dealt with. And our device basically improves the oxygenation of the blood cell, allowing it to better attack inflammation. If we can relieve inflammation, we can take away pain. And that's really what we do, is super oxygenize the blood or help the blood take up more oxygen, takes away inflammation, relieves pain, and promotes healing of the body.
Well, that's wonderful because we know so much of the education around disease these days comes from the role of inflammation, mitochondrial health, and all the different contributing factors. And it's interesting to see the role of energy medicine in this. And I think what you just said really is beneficial because it helps people understand, well, how does the energy actually benefit the patient physiologically? And we know that vascular issues are very important and very big contributors to diseases, things like type 2 diabetes, where they have limb issues. Wound care market and the podiatry market is driven by circulatory issues primarily. And it seems like a technology like MagnaWave really has a lot of options to help healthcare providers treat a wide range of clinical areas.
Absolutely. Other countries around the world, PEMF or pulsed electromagnetic field therapy is mainline medicine. In the 1800s, the AMA took electromedicine out of AMA in the United States. So we've been working over the years to get to the point that we can be recognized and be used like we are around the world in other disciplines and in other medical applications. Today, there's 5 devices that have been approved or cleared by the FDA that are PEMF devices. We now have a device that has been cleared, making that number 6 by the FDA for inflammation reduction. Pain relief is specifically where we're going there. That's been a big challenge, but we've been able to do it, and that's part of why we're coming forward. We want to help the human side of the business plus the veterinary.
Well, I think it's an interesting development because, as we know, when we look at inflammatory diseases and we look at technologies like, say, regenerative medicine, none of those technologies really work very well if the patients are in an inflammatory state because we know that you can't heal when you're inflamed. So managing inflammation from the beginning throughout the healing process and then after the healing process, really as a pre-peri-post model, this technology seems like it's very well suited to act as an adjuvant to things like hormones, peptides, regenerative medicine technologies, microneedling, and the aesthetic side of life. And there's a lot of shockwave therapy. There's a lot of things that people do for many different areas in the orthopedic world and in the aesthetics world, in the general systemic world, where inflammation is the key problem. But really having multiple tools like MagnaWave really gives the healthcare provider a lot of options to treat the patient through a longer pathway.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I've got spurs in my neck and I have some trouble now and again. And I went to my chiropractor yesterday and he microneedled my neck. And when we were finished up, he said, now you're going to be sore probably until tomorrow. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to go home and treat myself with my Aura Wave PMF device. And I came home, treated myself for 10 minutes. I have no pain, haven't had any pain since he needled me. And so that's just an application how we can work together by stacking different modalities.
Yeah, and I think education is so important, and I think a lot of these technologies have remained in the realm of maybe the non-MD, the chiropractic world, the naturopathic world, sports medicine, physical therapy. They all see the value of this. We know energy devices aren't necessarily new, but we know that there's a lot of options now that didn't exist between things like electrode geometry and the physics behind the energy signals, their amplitude and frequency and duration, all the different electromagnetic science now that's fully understood from a physics standpoint now is being transferred to healthcare providers and MDs in many different areas.
Absolutely. We're working with plastic surgeons, certainly chiropractors, gynecological folks. It's just amazing the applications that we've been able to find.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to educate us about MagnaWave, and we're going to have a whole series of educational information with you on a webinar for just learning about the company and the different devices you have and the science behind that, some outcomes and peer-reviewed publications, and then ultimately we'll be having a mini course on energy medicine, and you'll be having a big role to play in that. So thank you so much for supporting Boston BioLife, helping us get the word out about MagnaWave and the value of your products and what they can do for healthcare providers, but ultimately the patients in need. So thank you, Pat Ziemer, for coming here and teaching us all about MagnaWave and PEMF.
Thank you. Appreciate it.